In the last episode, the Arizona State Sun Devils had a very convincing start to the season, starting out 3-0 after beating Wyoming, Mississippi State, and Texas State. However, people weren't as convinced because they didn't play any high-tier teams, and this would just be a nice story, but they would soon get dominated in the Big 12. But they had a chance to prove them all wrong as they would travel to Lubbock, Texas to play the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the first game of the Big 12. Texas Tech would start off with the ball, and Arizona State's defense, coming off of a game where they were beat due to slant routes and dig routes in the middle of the field, had just as hard of a time this week. ASU's defense got torn apart by slant, dig, and post routes in the middle of the field, allowing the Red Raiders to go downfield and score an easy play-action touchdown due to Keith Abney getting juked so badly that he fell down, allowing for the receiver to be wide open. And on offense, it didn't look much better as Sam Levitt threw a bad pass into the hands of a Texas Tech DB for an interception, his first of the year. On the other end, Texas Tech drives downfield and scores a 20-yard touchdown on a screen pass that somehow gets past 6 defenders for a touchdown. The offense needs to score on this drive, and on 4th and 1 on their own 20-yard line, they go for it, practically gifting Texas Tech a touchdown if they don't get it. Levitt throws it deep, and it's incomplete. But there's a flag, pass interference on Texas Tech. The drive continues. They end up actually getting a decent drive together due to a series of mishaps from the Texas Tech secondary that ended in a defensive holding call and another pass interference call. They would get it to 4th and half a yard, hand it off to Scadaboo, which is almost a guaranteed first down, or not, turnover on downs. However, the defense finally gets the stop they needed, and Texas Tech has a 3-and-out. They actually go downfield again, but due to a bad pass by Levitt, they settle for a field goal. Both teams trade punts until ASU gets the ball with just over 4 minutes left in the game, and they actually get a good drive together, headlined by this catch by Tyson and this catch by Guillory. They get onto the 1-yard line, and Levitt punches it in on a QB sneak, making the score 14-10, Texas Tech still leading. There's not a lot of time left for Texas Tech, but they get a drive going due to a big run, a pass interference call, and then another pass in the middle of the field. But the defense shows up, and Texas Tech has to settle for a field goal, making the score 17-10 going into halftime.
ASU has not been playing well. Their defense can't stop the Red Raiders, and their offense has only put together one decent drive the whole game. But despite this, it's only a 7-point deficit, and with ASU starting with the ball, a touchdown here would cut the deficit entirely. And it's 3-and-out. Texas Tech kept doing the same thing that they've been doing, passing in the middle of the field, a bunch of broken tackles, and then a rushing touchdown to make it a 2-possession game again. ASU turns it over on downs, Texas Tech punts, and ASU on offense needs something big on this possession. And they got exactly that.
Pressure off the edge, Scadaboo, going where the man vacated. He didn't go out of bounds. He's still going. Scadaboo, dragged down at the 4.
Going to get a talking to from Tim DeRuiter.
That was Macho Stevenson making his first start at corner. Couldn't push Scadaboo out of bounds, and it cost Texas Tech a touchdown.
Cam Scadaboo had an amazing catch and run on the next play. He runs it in for a touchdown, but the extra point was blocked. The offense finally starts to get things together, but the defense continues to get shredded as the Red Raider offense drives down the field, but the defense holds them only to a field goal. Time is ticking for this team, and they need to score. And they go 3-and-out, obviously. And Texas Tech goes all the way downfield and gets a field goal. ASU turns it over on the next possession, and the game was basically over. They scored a touchdown late in the game, but it was too late. All those passes in the middle of the field and missed opportunities on offense caught up to them, and they fell on their first Big 12 opponent they would face. But the season's not over. They still have 8 more games to play this year, and they have a perfect chance to rebound against a Kansas team that has fell way short of expectations so far.
Levitt through the air, the slant, Jordan Tyson. Through the air, Levitt plenty of time.
He's got to run.
He's take off. He's got a first down and more. Play fake to Ridley Brown to the outside, looking for Guillory. Got it! Touchdown!
On second down, Levitt would throw a great pass to Guillory on a go route, and he snags it with one hand for a touchdown. However, Kansas would respond right back, getting a good drive of their own, followed by another defensive breakdown as Kansas dual-threat quarterback Jalen Daniels scrambles for a 22-yard touchdown. After this, ASU, Kansas, and then ASU again 3-and-out, and yet another defensive breakdown allows the Kansas wide receiver to score an easy touchdown. On offense, it would turn into the Cam Scadaboo show as he got a few good runs for a first down and showed once again that it takes more than 2 defenders to bring him down. However, they end up settling for a field goal, and it gets blocked. However, Kansas has to punt, and Arizona State has to punt as well. It's a fake, and it's caught for a first down. What an aggressive call by Dillingham and company that paid off. The offense goes downfield, and Jordan Tyson has a nice gain for a first down and more. A fumble right when we were starting to get momentum too. This one hurts. At least we forced them to punt right after though. And a great punt return by receiver Melquan Stovall, who transferred to ASU before the 2022 season and was there with us through the 2 really bad seasons. We take the momentum from the really good field position and find ourselves in the red zone when Sam Levitt throws it to 2023 transfer tight end Shimon Mateer for a touchdown, tying the game.
Coming out of halftime, Arizona State's defense starts doing exactly what they've been doing the whole season. Missed tackles, open receivers, but they keep it together when it matters and holds Kansas to a field goal. Meanwhile, on offense, the running game is working as they got into the red zone. And Levitt throws it to Tyson in the end zone, and it is in his hands, and he can't hold on. It gets tipped up, and it's intercepted by Kansas. Another missed opportunity in this game. However, this defense forces a 3-and-out, and on offense, Sam Levitt has a great drive as he throws this pass backwards on the run, and this strike down through the middle of the field to Tyson for a first down. And they get it to 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. Scadaboo takes the snap from wild scat formation, as we like to call it, and he is untouched as he scores the touchdown. And Arizona State takes a 21-17 lead. On the other end, Arizona State has their quarterly defensive collapse, as they do every game, as Kansas running back Devin Neal breezes past 5 defenders for a touchdown, as the running back waves goodbye to the crowd. But this game is not over, and there is still plenty of time left in this game, and good runs from Levitt and Scadaboo sets up Arizona State in a great position to score.
Throwing, he's got a man, he's got a touchdown, Jordan Tyson.
And they do just that as Levitt throws it to Tyson on a go route, and he catches it and slides into the end zone, retaking the lead. There's still plenty enough time for Kansas to come back in this game, but they drive downfield, and Jalen Daniels throws it to a Kansas receiver who breezes past 3 receivers on his route, dives and catches the ball over the shoulder for a touchdown, making the score 31-28, Kansas leading. There's just over 2 minutes left in this game, and Arizona State has a chance to go on a 2-minute drill game-winning drive to win this game, or at least tie. And this could possibly be the best offensive drive this entire season so far. On first down, Levitt hands it off, and the running back gets a good gain of 9 yards. On second down, Levitt hands it off to Scadaboo, and what a run by Scadaboo, breaking multiple tackles and giving his all on this play. Scadaboo carries for 3 yards on the next play, and on 2nd and 7, Levitt keeps it and scrambles for a first down. The next series of plays, Levitt and Scadaboo carry the ball and get a decent chunk of yards and takes off a ton of time on the clock. And on 3rd down, Levitt takes it on a design run up the middle, breaks 2 tackles that could have stopped him there, dives and extends the ball for a first down. And on 1st and goal with 30 seconds left, instead of running the ball, which they've done the entire drive, Levitt for some reason throws a fade. But it's to Jordan Tyson, who gets separation and
put you on.
Okay.
What's up? So in my opinion, I feel like Cam Skadbu, his yards after contact, those are great. Jordan Tyson, Sam Levitt, it's their first season, and they have that chemistry already. I feel like that's crazy. I mean, we're already 2 games away from a bowl game. I mean, this is big, but like CFP, you never know. Let's beat Utah next week.
Yeah, great call, JT. I mean, and that Utah game's 6 days away.
Well, it's time to raise the bar. Our expectations are not to get to a bowl game, but to win this conference and get into a college football playoff. The reality is, when you look at our schedule and you look at the cohesiveness of this team, if we can stay healthy, there's no reason why Arizona State can't run the table in the Big 12.
This would be a huge momentum swing for the season, as they would hope to use their momentum in the next week when they would face the biggest test this entire season. They would play the Utah Utes, who at the time might have been the best team in the Big 12. They won their conference 2 times out of the last 3 years, were picked to win the Big 12 conference in the preseason poll, and were ranked 16th at the time. This will be an opportunity for Arizona State to get their first big ranked win and prove themselves on a big stage. Or they would get blown out like they did last year, as they lost 55-3, and they could get destroyed and fall back down to irrelevancy.
Utah started with the ball, and they would immediately start playing their style of offense by running the ball down the defense's throat, and they got downfield, but the defense holds them to a field goal. And on offense, Levitt gets hit as he throws, and the ball goes right into the hands of a Utah defensive lineman, giving the Utes the ball with great field position. But the defense stands strong and holds Utah to a field goal. They would not get great yardage on the first and second down, but on third down, Xavier Guillory would have a huge catch and run for almost 30 yards. And when they found themselves in another third down hole, Levitt took it himself and ran for the first down. And he did the same thing once again, this time on fourth down, extending the drive. And right after Levitt threw a great pass to Jordan Tyson, he changes direction and dives into the end zone, making the score 6-6 because of a missed extra point. On the other end, the defense that's been playing surprisingly well holds Utah to a 3-and-out, and Sam Levitt finishes right where he left off, taking his team downfield and finding themselves in the red zone. On second down, Levitt kept it on a design run, and disaster struck for this team. Sam Levitt comes down with an apparent rib injury and has to go to the locker room. But we still have Cam Skadbu on this team, and on fourth down, he takes the ball and muscles it in for a gain of 6. And on second and goal, they drew up a designed run for Jeff Sims, and he would take it to the corner for a touchdown. Utah would get the ball, and they would get back on schedule, running it down our throats once again, and they would get into the red zone, and...
Rising pump fakes. Intercepted. Caleb McCullough gets the pick.
It would be intercepted by fifth-year senior Caleb McCullough, who's been with us ever since 2020 and has experienced all the lows this program got, so this interception must have been extra special for him. However, Sims and company couldn't do much on offense, and they had to punt. And Utah's offense would pick up right where they left off due to a good catch and run, and they found themselves within 10 yards of the end zone. And this defense has what might have been the best defensive stand they've had all season, as they stopped them on first, second, and third down, and Utah settles for a field goal to end the half. And to make news even better, Sam Levitt runs out of the locker room with his pads on, and it looks like he might return for this game. Are we going to beat Utah? What a crazy turn of events if the preseason ranked worst team beats the best team in the conference. But we still have another half of football to play. But with the way Levitt has played so far and the defense holding their own, it looks like we have a great shot at winning this game.
But with Utah having the ball on third down, he gets intercepted by Keith Abney, and Arizona State has great field position to start their drive. But they can't do anything with it. 3-and-out again. And Utah's offense goes right downfield due to the weak zone defense, and then they start running the ball for big gains, with the last one being a 6-yard rushing touchdown to give Utah the lead. And with Levitt being stagnant to come out of the half, they needed a spark on offense. And on 3rd and 2, they got exactly that.
Kickoffs. Here is Scatterboo. Contact balance. Stays on his feet.
He has an amazing run as he gets tripped up, but stays balancing by putting a hand in the ground and runs 50 yards to the end zone. They would both trade turnover on downs after this, but Utah gets great field position, but the defense comes up big and holds them to a 4th down. When Utah throws it to a wide open receiver for a touchdown, taking the lead. But we get bailed out by the refs as it was called offensive pass interference. So Utah settles for a field goal. The score is 20-19, and Arizona State still has the lead. But if Arizona State doesn't score on this drive, Utah could have a chance for a game-winning drive. And none of the previous plays mattered. Scadaboo's and Levitt's heroics would go back to waste, and the program would just fall back into irrelevance. Levitt would throw on the run to a storm of white jerseys, but in there would be Cam Scadaboo, who catches the perfectly placed pass over the shoulder to extend the drive, and just 2 plays later, this happened.
Big time run, big time player in a big game, a big conference game.
Cam Scadaboo would go the length of the field and dive into the end zone for an Arizona State touchdown. The score is 27-19, but this is still a 1-possession game. Utah would have a chance to score and get the 2-point conversion, and this defense, who has had their best game of the season, could have a chance to get the biggest stop of the season, to seal the game. And that's exactly what happened.
Finally with accuracy today. Rising, almost intercepted, and is picked. Juggled and intercepted. It's McCullough's second of the game.
It was intercepted by the same guy, Caleb McCullough, and that sealed the game for Arizona State. The fans were ready to rush the field, and as Levitt went into victory formation, when the clock hit 0, that's exactly what we did.